It is morning and Sunday and the light is weird, but I'm gonna try to do this. I'm walking back from the grocery store and I got Swiss chard and fruit and oatmeal because it's getting to be cold out here. Back in New York. Have been back for a couple days. Kind of sucks. That's New York. And I don't know, I feel like I'm still getting over being jet lagged, and yeah, I just haven't, like, I don't know, I feel like I haven't slept very well, and also just haven't done anything the last couple days of note. So anyway, I did have a doctor's appointment on Friday, which is what I'm kind of wanted to talk about. So when I was in high school, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and those things have still cropped up occasionally in my life, / a lot in my life at different points. And it's kind of back, which is actually one of the main reasons that I thought doing this project, this year 31 or whatever I'm calling it project, would be a good idea, because I don't know, just haven't been feeling that great, to be honest. So this doctor's appointment was a follow-up from one about a month ago when I went back on some medication, fluoxetine, which is a like the generic version of Prozac, and so this was an appointment to see, like, is it working, you know, am I feeling better? And the results are, like, kind of, I mean, I'm kind of feeling better, but I wouldn't say that I'm feeling, like, great. So we upped the dosage, and I'm seeing the doctor again in another month or so to see how that's going. And yeah, I'm not sure how much, like, of this is, like, how much of this is, like, my brain or my, like, body chemicals being, I don't know, not good or not, like, right, and how much of it is, like, we're in this place that I don't really like. I have kind of a lot of stress at work, which hopefully is decreased now. I don't feel like I've been doing that much creatively, so, you know, there's just a lot of factors at play that could be affecting how I'm feeling. So, trying to address those in different ways. I'm gonna try to get a little bit better sleep, maybe take, you know, just try to, like, make sure that we're ruling out all other causes, and, you know, trying to do the best we can do. So, kind of along those lines, I'm planning on taking a writing class in November, which should be good, and do a little bit more creatively and with sort of, I don't know, maybe even building a sense of community out here in New York. Who knows? That's crazy talk. And yeah, just, I don't know, trying to, trying to do better, eat better, sleep better, exercise a little bit more. Not seriously, like, I don't know that I have time for, or that I have, like, the capacity to take on more than I am right now. So by exercise, I mean, like, go for a walk, get out into the sunshine. Today I'm planning on going to the Sangha group, like, as soon as I put away the groceries, basically, and then I'm supposed to go, I'm planning on going for a bike ride with my friend, and yeah, that's sort of the plan for today. Hoping to have an easier time of it. We'll see how it goes, but I'm back from grocery shopping, so I'm gonna stop right now and see what happens.
So it's nighttime now, and I recorded something before dinner on my phone and then found out that I basically can't record more than 5 minutes on my phone, which has not been a problem so far, but I hit the 5-minute mark and still had stuff to say. So hopefully I will make this version shorter and more interesting. This is my cat Hillary. She's real mad right now because I'm holding her, and also because she's pretty sure that it's time for dinner, and she's actually got like 40 more minutes to wait until she gets fed, so she's really upset. And I may let her go in a little bit, and she may make a bunch of noise in the background because we shut her in the bedroom here with me because she's making a lot of noise. So that's the deal with us. So I just wanted to follow up on kind of how my day went, and I realized the video from my phone this morning was pretty crappy. It's an old phone, and it's also a phone that I don't clean very often, so the lens on the camera is pretty dirty. And honestly, this is probably not that great either because I'm filming it on my computer laptop, but you know, whatever. I'm 30 years old. I don't need to put on makeup. I don't need to, brush my hair. I don't need to have a nice camera in order to make YouTube videos that no one's going to watch besides like me and maybe my mother. If you're watching this, hi mom. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of follow up on my day and also talk a little bit, like recap a little bit of what I talked about earlier. So my day went pretty well. I did end up going to the Sangha, which was great. I had not been meditating while I was on vacation, and which is so stupid. Why would I do that? As soon as I kind of sat down and settled a little bit, it felt great. Like it just really was a relief to be there and to kind of take that time and that silence. And yeah, I don't know why I wouldn't do that on vacation. I probably really could have used it. So anyway, it felt good to kind of get back into that habit. So that was really good. It takes a long time for me to get to the community meditation center. It's like an hour away by train, and then it's an hour and a half there, and then an hour and a half back. So it's pretty long, but whatever, it's fine. Cat butt in the background. So that was really good, and then I didn't end up going for a walk. I didn't end up going for a bike ride. We went for a walk instead, which was nice. It was good to catch up with my friend, and it was just, like I said this morning, it was, more important to me to get out and, I'm not sure how annoying this cat in the background is going to be. It was more important for me to get out and like exercise than to do anything else. So, or like get out in the sunshine and walk around more than anything else, and that was good. So even though I didn't get a bike ride, I felt pretty good about it. And then after that, I really didn't do anything. I like hung out on the internet and like read BuzzFeed and dumb stuff, which I think is actually on my list of things that I want to stop doing, is like wasting time on the internet, and in particular like wasting time on BuzzFeed, because it's not a good site, but I read it all the time, and I take the stupid quizzes, which are designed for people in high school, and I am 30. Like, they're not for me. There's all these quizzes on there that are like, tell us something about yourself and we'll tell you what age you get married, and it's like, I'm already married and I'm old, and like, get over it. So anyway, not the point. So yeah, so today was like a pretty good day, and I'm hoping this evening, I don't know, like I will do some prepping for tomorrow and, get up early-ish and have a good morning as well. So that's kind of that. I mentioned this morning that I'm kind of doing this because my anxiety and maybe my depression have kind of returned again, and I'm addressing it through medication and doctor's help, which I think is really valuable and important. If you haven't, if you suffer from these things, or if you have these things, it's worth considering, sort of the role of medication. I was really opposed to it for a really long time because I thought it would change who I am, and that's not what I've experienced. It just sort of helps even things out. So I don't know. That's just my experience. And so if you have experience with these things and you're, considering going on medication, it might be worthwhile. Everyone's circumstances are different, obviously, but it won't change who you are. So yeah, I don't want to make too big a deal out of it. I'm certainly not, you know, unable to exist or, I don't know, function on a daily basis or at sort of a usual level. Probably, I don't even know that anyone notices that I'm feeling this way besides me. So, um, it's, I guess for my mother, if she's watching, it's not a big deal. Um, but it's big enough that I want to address it. And so, yeah, part of this I thought was just if I can think about how to have fun and the things that make me happy in different ways in sort of a conscious way over the next year, maybe that's something that will help. Because it really does feel like over the last year I haven't done that much. Like I was looking over um, my like goals list from this time last year, and it was things like run a marathon, have an essay published, like things like that, and I just didn't do any of it. I mean, I started a new job, we moved, but like I didn't really do much else. So I want to, I kind of want to end next year in a different place, and I hope that kind of by making some of these videos, I'll have a little bit of a better record of how things are for me, I guess, at different points during the year. So that's kind of the point and the goal here. So with that in mind, here's a little bit of an update on how my list of 100 things is going. I went to Mendocino, so crossed that off the list. I read Rebecca Traister's book, Good and Mad, which I talked about a little bit in a previous video, and said that I was rereading, which I was, but then I got really distracted because I started my scary story that's on my list, and that was also really good, and so I just wanted to read that instead of rereading Rebecca Traister's book. So I still really recommend Rebecca Traister's book. I think it's really good. I think it's a really good, I don't know, book for this moment in our American history. Sorry, my cat is bothering me. Good moment for our time in American history, and I just think it's really valuable. So if you have not read it yet, I definitely recommend it. I have it right here. So Good and Mad by Rebecca Traister. It's really good. I will try to include the link in the description box because then I will have learned it. But yeah, I don't know that I have much more to say about it. It sort of places women's anger in a historical context and addresses some of the intersectional issues with, race and class and how those affect the way that women's anger is perceived. And then also just, I think I ended the book feeling like our anger is justified. Like anger is an appropriate response to the circumstances that we find ourselves in today in the world. So anger isn't something that we need to get over. Anger isn't something that we need to transform into another emotion or into something else. Like anger is valuable in and of itself. Anger has a purpose, and anger is a reasonable response to injustice. So that was my big takeaway from the book, and it actually made me feel fairly hopeful. And so I really recommend it for that reason. And the other book that I read was called The Grip of It. I'm just looking up the title of it, or the author. The Grip of It by Jacques Jemec. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. She's an author based out of Chicago. It was really good. It was so creepy. And I started reading it when we were in Mendocino, and it's a little bit about a haunted, well, it's a lot. It's entirely about a haunted house. But the setting is, by a lake in the woods, and so being right on the coast of the Pacific Ocean and in the redwood trees, it was just the perfect venue to read this spooky haunted house book. And so it's a lot about sort of this house that's kind of creepy and not quite sure what's going on. Is it ghosts? Is it spirits? Is it each other? Like, is it humans? And it's sort of about a couple who are also having marital problems, who bought this house, and kind of what happens to them while they are moving in and living there. And it doesn't end with clear resolution, which I kind of liked. Like the ending, not to give too much away, but the ending makes you feel like it's all just a cycle. It's all just going to start over now. So I really enjoyed it. I really, if you're looking for a creepy book to read, it's definitely a good one. And it's not super long. I think I read it in like I don't know, 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 like long days of reading sessions, but like it didn't take that long. And then the other book that I'm currently reading right now is called They All Love Jack, and I forget who the author is, but I will include it in the description below as well, along with a link. It is a nonfiction book. It's about the case of Jack the Ripper, and more importantly, it's about sort of the way that this author feels like they purposefully bungled that investigation. So this whole idea of a mystery, he kind of believes is not the case. That we could have solved this a long time ago if, or like during the time if the powers that be had wanted to solve it. And so I think that that's a fairly interesting book as well, and just interesting from the perspective of true crime. So I started reading it because it was recommended on the podcast My Favorite Murder, which I love along with everyone else in the listening world. And yeah, so it's really good. Other stuff that I talked about a little bit, I am planning on taking a writing class. It'll start next week, November 6th, I think, and it's kind of on fiction, which I don't feel like I do particularly well. It wasn't something I studied a lot in college, so I'm looking forward to that. I haven't totally decided if I'm going to do NaNoWriMo. If I did, I wouldn't do it as like write a whole novel. I would probably do it as like try to write 500 words a day, or try to write, something a little bit more consistent rather than trying to write a full novel when I feel like I have been working on that and it's kind of stalled. So, which is part of my problem. So we'll see what happens. I am going to sign up for that class, and I realized I didn't actually put like writing really on the list. I mean, I put sort of the stories that I want to tell, and I guess that implies writing, but writing was definitely something that I really wanted to focus on for the rest of 2018 at least, and hopefully like have a sort of creative process and creative I don't know, system developed or whatever. Anyway, this video has gotten ridiculously long, and it's probably not that interesting to anyone besides me, but no one besides me is going to watch it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I think that about covers it. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about, what I've been working on. I added another page on my blog so that you could find the list easier, and I've crossed off the ones that I've done. I don't really have a plan for what I'm going to do the next ones, like what else I'm going to cross off the list anytime soon. I did order boots, so if those get here and I like them, then I will be able to cross that off the list. And I'm clearly spending more time with my cat, whether she likes it or not. And yeah, so I'll have to think a little bit about what I want to do now that our immediate trip is over. So that's about it, and I hope you guys have a good night, and I hope that if you listen to all of this, that it was semi-interesting to you. I know it's like going to be like 15 minutes long at this point. So good night, and see you in a couple days probably.